these politically uncertain times. Ndu Oko, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latin, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Good morning, 11 after 6. How are you doing, City? Welcome to Friday.
Well, thank you very much, Eric. It is Friday, isn't it?
It is.
And we're in August, isn't it?
We are.
Which means the year's over, isn't it?
It is.
Well, we did say this in January.
Well, indeed.
This year seems to have been on a speed dial.
Yep.
Because everything just seems one moment you're in 1 month. Before you take a deep breath, that month is over.
You're off to the next one.
You're off to the next one and you're wondering what on earth happened. Yep, so here we are wondering what on earth happened. Others, you well?
Mimi niko sawa kabisa.
How is this weather treating you?
It's cold, man.
Don't
It's
joke.
cold. It's cold. There are parts of this country that are going below 10, single-digit temperatures
Like where?
during the day. Like Nyahururu.
Nyahururu, that place is interesting. Remember, it even snowed once there. Nyahururu is strange.
Can you imagine?
But this thing of...
And you can imagine. So if it's going to about 9 early afternoon, so
Afternoon.
4 a.m. must be freezing.
if it's 9 at 4 p.m., in the morning, that thing must go down to around 3 or 4 there.
Way.
But you know, that Nyahururu thing, I wonder, it's the one place where there are hailstones that can actually form ice on roads, my friend.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
What is it about that place?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because we know...
I don't know whether it's the effects of the Abadeas. I do not know.
That's a very good point.
But I don't know why.
I don't know why also, but because we know, when you hear cold, I know Timbara. Cold to the point where you can't even think. Limuru. But none of these places snows. None of these places have ice that does wonderful things. And
Water
yet,
crystallizing like that.
Kabisa, but then you come to Nyahururu, the very thing that you didn't expect to happen in the tropics happens.
It's quite bizarre.
No, it's actually quite interesting, yes.
Quite bizarre. Anyway, Karibuni Sana, welcome to the show. Again, Ndu not in today. Well, this matter is already out there in the public domain, so let's just talk about it. Yeah, she's been asked to proceed on leave. Yeah. There's a lot to be said, but let's not say it now. Let me tell you what we shall discuss in the show going forward. Today being Friday, we're going to have a Health Friday conversation, won't we? Yes, we will. At 9 a.m., we'll be joined by Dr. Ada J.B. Tatu. She's a counseling medical doctor and founder of the Wastahili Family Wellness Center in Nairobi. Parenting and addiction recovery. That's what we shall be discussing. It's a matter of mental health and addiction and coping with addiction and what weight that bears on parents when they see their children getting caught up in this. She will be here at 9 a.m. for that discussion. At 8 o'clock, we shall be talking about a conversation that we began and highlighted to great depth yesterday, the new higher education funding model. How is it working? Is it addressing the real issues? Remember, we had the two students from the University of Nairobi yesterday, Michael Soy and Ramesh Saxena. And the student leaders were telling us this is really affecting the first years at the university because they are being slapped with heavy pay structures and they just don't know how to pay. And then they're placed in certain categories and bands and how you can receive, how much bursary you can receive, how much scholarship you can receive, how much loan from HELB you can receive, and how much is expected to come out of your pocket for whatever course you're taking. Now, the person who's responsible for the first bit of this, which is the scholarship from the government. Government is offering scholarship to all students. From those who are affluent, they get 30% of their school fees paid by government scholarship. To those who are extremely poor, who get 60% of their school fees paid via scholarship by government. That means 60% free education. Okay? How is it working? How do you fall into whichever category? The person in charge of this is the chief executive officer of the university's fund. Geoffrey Monari will join us at 8 a.m. to explain how this university's funding model is working. And then in the next hour at 7 a.m., we are going to talk about equipping the Gen Z and the Gen A's for leadership. There's somebody who's been working with the youth for many years now. He's engineer Mike Mutungi. He founded an organization called I Choose Life Africa, which works with university students. And I think it has spread now beyond university students, but he'll tell us about it. I Choose Life Africa started, first of all, sensitizing the youth about HIV and, just talking about the need to practice safe sex or abstain and go for testing and counseling and all that. And he's worked for many years with the youth on this. Now he'll come and tell us how then we should be thinking of equipping the Gen A's and the Gen Z's into leadership. 16 minutes after 6, let me tell you about the weather. And then we will look at the headlines shortly. Edna has switched on the live stream. It's up everywhere on YouTube, on X, on Facebook, on TikTok, or Kilamali. Say hello.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. The weather with Spice FM.
Sasa mambo iko namna hii. This Nairobi is cold, I'm telling you. Right now at 6:17 a.m. it's 12 degrees outside there. That is cold for Nairobi because we are comparing with the coldest part of Africa, this sub-Saharan Africa. 9 degrees in Johannesburg. 12 degrees in Nairobi. So Nairobi is cold. Hey. Kakamega 17 degrees and mostly cloudy. Mombasa 22 and cloudy. Malindi 24 and cloudy. Nyeri 13 and cloudy. Nakuru 15 and cloudy. This is Eldoret 13 and cloudy. My goodness. Hey. Kisumu 20 and partly cloudy. Let's go around the region. Partly cloudy at 18 in Kampala, Kinshasa 20 and cloudy, 25 Lagos, Nigeria, partly cloudy, Mogadishu 25, partly sunny, Addis Ababa 13, partly cloudy, Dar es Salaam partly cloudy at 24, Paris is mostly cloudy at 20, New York partly cloudy at 27 at night. Eish, man. London mostly cloudy at 19 and Beijing is going into a cloudy afternoon at 30.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Aya basi, watu wako online, watu wengi. Yeah. Akiki, we see you. Please tell Ndu tell me Ndu is just on leave. Well, we hope so, man. Agola, what the hell? I know. Alex Munaya, general warm wishes to you, Ndu, wherever you are. Joseph, John Gishoke, Wangoi, Samuel Kimani, Henry, accepted Bernard Okello, Mwenda Pole, Ted Wagude, sending all your good wishes to Ndu and saying good morning to everybody else who's tuned in. Josegi, good morning. Isaac Babji, good morning. Margaret Wenjage, Sky Simba, John Motinda, good morning, good team. Jimmy Kakeo, good morning. Jimmy Mureithi, good morning. Alex Munai, James Mukabana, Karibu Sana, the Kikombe. Question for City Muga. The one who wears the snazziest hats should be a CS education if they've never been. Should one be a CS for education if they've never been a teacher?
Yes, you can be a CS for education and never been a teacher. Yes, it's possible. It's like asking, can someone be a minister for defense and they've never been in the military?
Yep.
Or does someone need to be a water engineer to be in charge of the Ministry of Water?
What a good question.
Better still, do you need to be a carpenter to know a good table?
That's a good one. Good morning, Garrican City. We love the work that you do, but if the three musketeers aren't there, we will sadly have to find a new home. Surely. Now we are going to suffer now because now surely. The Kikombe checked in and is wondering if your net worth has grown by hundreds of millions, if you're not as yes. City, since last you're here, how much has your net worth grown?
It was reduced.
Then you're not suitable to serve in government.
That one I concur. In fact, I am one of the most unsuitable candidates for any such position.
Yeah.
And I agree completely.
Because you cannot grow wealth.
It's clear I cannot grow. I keep talking about how wealth can be grown. And clearly, I mean, someone who, by virtue of just his existence and work, has managed to reduce his net worth. Surely that person, should that person really be given a position of authority? The answer is no.
Wow.
And I am speaking about myself.
Bas. So should you ever see CT being nominated to government, just know the man has discovered the formula for growing his wealth.
And someone has noticed.
And
I've said, this guy, I think he's the sort of person who would fit perfectly.
He has finally qualified.
Yes.
Joe Mungai says, help me wish my dear parents, Erastus Mungai and Elizabeth Wardaya, a happy 75th wedding anniversary to be celebrated tomorrow.
My goodness.
75th wedding anniversary. Wow. Wow.
That one, you are to be congratulated, and may you have many, many more years to come.
Where?
That is fantabulous.
Where? Kabisa.
Yes.
Oh, Kabisa. Yes, to Mr. Erastus Mungai and Mrs. Elizabeth Odaya, a very, very happy 75th wedding anniversary. This is from your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren. I'm sure there are many.
That is, should we say, a statement that requires investigation?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
The question that I'm looking at. Ask CT where he was in 1971, 3rd April. Okay, let me tell you. I was in standard 7. I was in standard 7.
On the 3rd of April.
I was in standard 7.
Yeah.
Yes.
But where were you on that day? Were you in class? Were you at home?
I'm not sure which day it was, but it was a weekday. I was in school. Yes. And the school I was in is called St. Xavier's Primary School in Nakuru. Yes.
Hey. That is the day when the Kenya Air Force fighter Fred Oyo, Daniel Owino, Juvenalis Aoko, General Joseph Ndolo, Professor Ouma Muga plotted a coup against Jomo Kenyatta with the help of TVP. Papdi. Okay.
That was the first coup attempt, and it cost very many senior people their jobs, including the then
head of the military.
Head of the military, yes, a gentleman called Ndolo, and also the CJ of the time. Yes. So it wasn't, the 82 wasn't the first time we'd had a stab at this. But we read it in the news. You know, it was
this one didn't bubble over.
No, it was just happened in the barracks. It was contained in there, and there was noise about this happening. The 82 was loud and out in the open. Yes. But what is not told is, in that 1982, anybody who was in the Air Force, you know that sports ground on Langata, before it was refurbished, if you happen to have been in the Air Force, people were taken there stripped naked with their hands behind their back, kneeling. That's where you're being interrogated.
The new Lindsay Stadium.
That area there. Air Force. That's where you were taken, out in the open. Kuja hapa, sema unajua nini.
Why? Haya. Tell us the proverb. Final proverb from?
The Republic of Burundi. A bird cannot know where the sorghum is ready unless she flies. Yes.
A bird cannot know where the sorghum is ready unless she flies.
Yes.
Can't just sit there and smell it.
Nope. Unfortunately, this one you can't watch on TV.
Ile kwa shamba ya city. Hiyo sorghum
inaonekana imeiva. Unajuaje? Sinienda huko. Alikualika hapana. Lakini ulienda.
Okay. Let's look at the headlines in the Standard today. First of all, the strips up there. Kalonzo Kioni threw weight behind Rigathi. Allah. Jeremiah Kioni is throwing his weight behind Rigathi Gachagua.
Well, this is politics, isn't it?
Siyasa. Rights group sues over roads levy. Bas. Anger over Hamas chief killing. And Olympics Kenya stars on show. Then Nairobi police boss victims keen at IPOA. Adamson Bungay, I was about to say a damsel. Adamson Bungay among 9 officers questioned by IPOA over protest killings as 14 families who lost kin recorded statements. And then now the headline in the Standard today, North Parks as 2.5 billion shilling nominees face test. There were no fireworks as MPs who faced the wrath of Gen Zs for passing the fallen Finance Bill 2024 in protest that forced the dissolution of the cabinet sought redemption yesterday during day 1 of scrutiny of President William Ruto's 5 picks with a combined net worth of 2.5 billion shillings. These 5 people are worth 2.5 billion shillings. How? Okay?
See, I'm seeing.
How? For example, Soipantuya, the defense CS nominee, when she was first questioned about her net worth in 2022, she said it was 156 million. Now it's 243 million. Kithure Kindiki, 544 million, now 694 million. Deborah Barasa, Dr. Deborah Barasa, the nominee for health, she's worth 455 million. Julius Migosi, the nominee for education, is worth 790 million. He's the richest of them all. Alice Wahome, the CS nominee for lands, she's going back to lands, worth 327 million now, which has grown almost by 50% from the 218 million that she was worth. How her net worth has jumped by
Is there a point at which
10 million?
these erstwhile citizens are asked to show evidence?
That's the thing.
Yes.
That's the thing, and we'll look at it in greater detail in the stories. Okay? Haya, tuangalie hii kitu ambayo inaitwa The Nation. Crisis as 32 billion shilling unsold tea hits farmers' payouts. Allah. Now, apparently, a standoff over state-fixed minimum prices at the Mombasa tea auction has left warehouses overflowing with over 100 million kilos of unsold produce, with many firms, including the giant KTDA, struggling to pay farmers and resorting to loans to offset dues to the growers. And as the tea bonus season beckons, it's a race against time for the authorities to unlock the stalemate and farmers' hard-earned cash. This is an interesting one. So the government has said, you know what, there's a guaranteed minimum return. Okay? So for tea farmers, there's a guaranteed minimum price that this tea must sell. Our Kenyan tea you can't just go and sell it like it is some backwater tea. Now, the traders at the auction in Mombasa are having a difficult time swallowing this particular appeal. And so they're not buying the tea. So who's serving the tea? Nobody's serving the tea.
Well,
A nation is giving us the tea today that bonus. Haikuji. Sikia.
It is not possible.
Equally. Airman who escaped 3 executions and lived to tell the coup tale. The Nation is continuing this story from yesterday on the attempted coup of August 1st, 1982, where they're now talking about Lieutenant Adan Mulata, a Kenya Air Force pilot, and his friends who stopped by a pre-wedding event at the sports pavilion in Moi Air Base, Isli. Then, all hell broke loose. They had stopped by a pre-wedding event on that night. There was a pre-wedding event on the night, and they are Air Force pilots, and they go to Isli Air Base, and this is where the coup is launched.
Frying pan into the fire, is it?
Higher. How Ruto ministers minted millions in 21 months. 3 cabinet secretary nominees named back to the cabinet by President Ruto yesterday revealed multi-million shilling increases in their wealth in less than 2 years in office. This as the first batch of 5 nominees faced a tough test before the House committee. Yenyewe, if in 21 months your wealth can grow by over 100 million shillings, and you are, how old is Kithure Kindiki?
I don't know.
He's 50-something years old.
He is in his 50s.
So what we are saying is that by the time the guy gets to 60, his wealth will have grown, in multiples of 200.
He'll be a billionaire in Kenyan shillings.
And he doesn't have to work for the government because this is all money from his private
From what I heard,
interests.
it is being said that he earns most of this money from his law practice.
That's what he said.
Yes. Now, when you are a cabinet secretary and you have a law practice,
You're not practicing.
What's our
But your law practice is still a going concern.
yes.
And you have associates and employees.
Yeah, but then
over
how should see this is the point.
So when the law firm makes money and it's paid,
You get your share.
Yeah.
No. Therein lies a conflict of interest.
Apo, eh?
Yes, therein lies a conflict of interest. You should actually absolve yourself from anything to do with that law firm. I don't know what the law is, and maybe we should find out. But you cannot be in such a position of authority, okay, where indeed there will be legal issues within the docket that you're in. And then you have an active law firm and you participate. If you don't participate, the law firm can continue.
City, what if the law firm is actually not doing any business with government or with any entity that's associated with the government?
Eric, they don't have to do
they're
business.
only
No.
dealing, they're dealing with, for example, just city and
Conveyancing, the usual things they do.
Yeah.
Eric, it doesn't work like that. These are clever people. There will be no direct business going to that law firm. But because of the influence, and I'm not saying this is what has happened here, I'm saying the likely scenario, business will be given to somebody else, but they will know exactly where the business has come from.
Unajua hii ni law firm ya Kidure?
Yes. They will know. So all I'm saying is that anything that shines a light on possible misdeeds must be eliminated. Yes. Bro, if I have a sugarcane farm, okay, and I'm Minister for Agriculture, okay, and suddenly the price of the produce goes up.
Yeah. That's a sugarcane farm. You can clearly see.
It is a sugarcane farm.
Kithule
And that's
is
why I'm giving the
he's not a
example.
minister for... Oh,
No.
Okay, let's finish.
So you've seen?
Let's say,
No, it is a sugarcane farm.
Okay.
He's a lawyer. He's head of... There is no ministry that will not have legal issues. It's not complicated. Sugarcane farm, even if it is just something that happened as though things just happen, okay? And the price of sugar goes up. So my cane at the factory, the value per tonnage goes up. People will impute impropriety. They'll say, wait a moment, but you...
You're a sugarcane farmer.
Yes.
So should you stop being a sugarcane farmer?
No, I must demonstrate that I have devolved myself from that business completely.
Why should you...
I can't sell...
Why should you devolve if you are a sugarcane farmer?
Because it will represent a conflict of interest.
What are you saying, City?
It seems remote, but it
That
will.
if you're a minister for agriculture, you should stop farming.
No, you should stop being involved in farming. Meaning, I am not the only one. Look, if I have a farm, it's my farm. Okay? Nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
But I must demonstrate that I am no longer involved in the day-to-day running of that particular sugarcane farm. I must show.
Yes. But if the farm continues to make money,
The farm was making money before I became minister.
And if it continues to make money, yes, you've devolved yourself from day-to-day running.
Yes.
Does it mean that you've devolved yourself from the benefiting from it?
No, I haven't.
Because you're still the beneficial owner of this thing.
What?
You cannot stop being the beneficial owner of your land.
What I am arguing here is that I must distance myself from any hint of impropriety. That is what I am saying.
Okay.
It's a tightrope, but I must. I must.
State rejects telcos push for lower power tariffs. That's the back page of the Nation. And apparently, the political parties disputes tribunal has issued an interim order stopping President William Ruto from appointing a panel to pick the electoral agency's commissioners until a dispute over a nominee is resolved. Guy. The order was issued following a petition on a dispute involving Kalonzo Musyoka's Wiper Party and the National Liberal Party, both Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition affiliates, over a nominee to the 9-member panel. In the orders issued on Wednesday, PPDT granted Augustus Muli of NLP his prayers of prohibiting the coalition from forwarding the name of Koki Muli for appointment by the president. Hii sasa ni ile siasa ile sasa.
Simeanza.
Imenoga.
Yeah, but Koki Muli, I don't know the other Muli gentleman, but I do know Koki Muli. Seems to me like a good choice.
Even Augustine Muli will seem to be a good choice.
As I said, I don't know the other
depending on who
gentleman.
you ask.
Yes, exactly. I don't know who Augustus Muli is, but I do know Koki Muli. And I believe, given her track record and the things she has done in this space...
Now, the only dispute here is not about whether they are suitable. It is whether this is when the political parties coalition, it's what political parties liaison committee.
Yes.
You see, it gets 3 slots.
It gets choices of 3.
1 from the majority, 1 from the minority, and 1 from a non-parliamentary party. Now, it appears that from the minority side, Azimio has said, Wiper, give us some. Or Azimio has said, give us. Okay? So, this NLT, whatever party of Augustine Muli, forwards his name.
Because that he's a
Yes.
parliamentary thingamajig. Yes.
And then Kokimuli is forwarded by this other one.
But where's the conflict? See, why can't they both be there?
Because there's only one slot.
Wait, I thought but the non-parliamentary gets one and then the minority get one.
It's a party. Both these parties are members of Azimio.
See, he pulls out of Azimio.
Let me tell you about the Nairobian. You'll tell us about the Business Daily. Ama, you'll tell us about the Nairobian.
Well, let me see. No, I'll tell you about that. Let's talk about business. I'll talk about Nairobi.
Very good. The Business
I'll talk about
Daily.
the stuff.
Treasury stares at 510 billion shilling hole as tax laws collapse. Where? Because of that, 510 billion shilling. My goodness. And then there are ticker headlines. Kenya Power deals a blow to illegal scrap metal dealers. EABL pays 11 billion shilling loans to tame high interest costs. Horticulture exports rise to 47 billion in quarter one. Tell us about the Star and the Nairobian.
Yes, top right-hand corner. This is in, who said it was not burnt brown, burnt orange. Okay, Kenya Kwanza and Azimio must harmonize development issues. Okay, that's what they say. That's in the Siasa column on page 10. Miracle pastors face 10 years in jail in a new law. Clerics who use tricks or schemes of prayer, alleging healings and miracles to fraudulently obtain money from their followers will now face a 5 million fine or 10 years in jail if a new bill is enacted. And so this thing of come for your miracle, as though a miracle is actually delivered by Boda Boda. If you come at this hour, you'll get that one. If you're in that category of miracle delivering prelate, you, my friend, will face either 10-year jail term, or you'd better have 5 million shillings to pay. Tribunal halts formation of IBC hiring team. Same story as the one you mentioned. 2023 was the warmest year on record. According to the UN, last year was extremely hot.
Wow. Warmest year on record.
Yes.
Globally,
on record, it is the warmest. Yani, when you look, warmth, this one, complete maximum warmth. Closed meeting. This is bang in the middle of the paper. Opposition bosses rejected bid for radical reforms. Ruto Raila plan major changes into constitution. Oginga has called for return to famous Boma's draft constitution. And then there's a picture in the middle of the paper, and the headline is "Stinking Rich Nominees Vetted by Lawmakers." Did you listen to this process?
I didn't actually listen properly to it. I just saw several clips.
Yeah, but you declare wealth. Let me ask the question again. Do we know the sources of your wealth?
It's the way they've set up the law, right? First of all, it's self-declaration. And then second, there is no follow-up question.
Yeah, so then why...
You just come and say, I've got business.
Then what's the purpose of even having the meeting? I mean, surely, if you can't probe, then what exactly are you doing?
Yeah.
Ticking the box.
Yeah.
Okay, how much are you worth? Okay, thank you very much. And like that.
No, you just have to explain. So, but the last time you said here you were...
So now you are...
Yeah, so explain the difference. You see, I was doing business, and now someone owed me and they've paid me.
Yes.
Someone owed you and they've paid you. In the last 12 months, someone has paid you 100 million
shillings.
And so that now becomes part of your net worth.
Yes, and they owed you, so you lend them 100 million shillings. Where did you get the 100 million shillings to lend them in the first place? It's not 10 bob. Right. Let's look at the Business Daily, shall we? Okay. All right. This is a comment from the article by Jaindi Kisero. So top right-hand corner. My take on the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport concession saga. So far, much more heat than light. Okay? Right. Kenya Power deals...
We've done the Business Daily.
You've done the Business Daily?
You were to do the Star and the Nairobian.
You let me start and continue, then you tell me. All right. The Nairobian.
Bless you.
Thank you. Actress Mora mourns her daughter. Why raising Gen Z kids is tough balancing act for modern parents. This is a story on page 22 and page 23.
It's a sad story. It's been doing the rounds on social media.
It has.
Yeah.
His
His daughter is said to have committed suicide.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kazim Tani, keeping Gen Z engaged and fed. All right. Fatal affair. 2 men enter Sin City looking for love but end up dead.
Wow.
This story was in the papers.
Yeah.
Remember we talked about it. 2 young men who went to meet their girlfriends. Something happened. Both got shot, one died. Okay? On the prowl, time for Kenya to hunt medals in Paris. Okay, now back in the middle of the Nairobian, headline, Religious Task Force. Team puts rogue pastors on notice as sex scandals, fraud, rock the church.
Wow.
Presidential Task Force reviewing faith organizations proposes tough laws to deal with offenses related to religious, ranging from sexual abuse, cultism, extremism, terrorism, and money laundering. Okay. Right. It sounds like...
Whose photo is that?
There is a gentleman with a beard. They don't tell us whose picture it is.
I think this is Father Kizito. Actually, yes.
This is Father Kizito.
Yeah.
Page 4 and 5. Yes, it is Father Kizito. We need Father Kizito. You're right. It's Father Kizito. It is Father Kizito.
Father Kizito, yes.
Yes.
He was involved in a scandal a couple of years back of alleged molestation of boys.
And you know, oddly enough, this man, when HIV was still being understood, one of the things that he was known for, he had a unit that helped understand, I'm using this word very loosely, offering testing, offering all manner of things at the time when these things were still new. He even his unit came up with some sort of cure or treatment for HIV. And that was, of course, blown to smithereens scientifically because it turned out to be, as Gijaindi says, more heat than light. A potent mix of love, jealousy that led to murder of son. This is the story on page 7. These stories, God Almighty, God Almighty. She took in a man almost 3 times her age as a lover. The soft talking septuagenarian turned out to be the devil and cut her son into pieces. Gosh, I don't watch hapo tu.
Mbaya. Acha tufanye mambo ya traffic. It is 18 minutes to 7. Let me tell you what's happening on the roads.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
KTN News. Get the whole story.
Because we have potential in the girl child. They are also change makers in the society, and this will also help to address challenges that come with gender inequality, cultural norms that are negative to the society. I started with 15 beehives, and within a span of 4 months, I harvested 2 hives, each giving me 20 kilograms per hive.
Excuse me. So among the things that we see here is the standard talks about the North Parks, and then they look at each of these nominees and what they said. And you clearly see that there were questions that were asked and there were very many questions that were not asked. So for example, Kithure Kindiki, all of them, there's an issue of wealth declaration. And then there's the performance, for example, of Kithure Kindiki, who says that the story says that he was yesterday confronted by the ghost of police killings of protesters when he met the parliamentary committee vetting him. The former CS evaded responsibility for incidents of police brutality, laying blame on the National Police Service, whose conduct during the protests he would praise. He was praising that he was doing a good job, but now he's saying, but it's them. Kindiki told the National Assembly Committee on Appointments that he was only in charge of offering policy directions to the NPS, arguing that command responsibility rested with the Inspector General of Police. Ministers don't instruct operations, they instruct policy. I can only reign if my policy instruction is unconstitutional, or resign rather. he told the Speaker Moses Wetangula-led committee, even as he promised to hold accountable overbearing officers if reappointed to the Interior Ministry. He failed tough questions, mostly from lawmakers from the minority Azimio coalition, who felt that he should be responsible for the police high-handedness and the response to the peaceful protests. Over 1,000 demonstrators have been arrested over the recent demos amid condemnation from various quarters. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken recently told President Ruto to ensure accountability as he urged for respect of civil liberties. Okay? Even yesterday, when the vetting started, the U.S. Embassy in Nairobi tweeted and said it was keenly watching the vetting process. In a statement, it said, as Kenyans look ahead to the vetting of cabinet nominees beginning today, we recognize the importance of integrity in public service and the National Assembly's vital role in upholding Chapter 6 of Kenya's Constitution. The prospective Interior Seer says every death that occurred must be accounted for. The process of putting together criminal investigations, including forensic evidence, cannot be rushed. I believe IPOA should help the country get closure.
There's one sentence that I've got there. If the nomination goes through, he will rein in. Double speak. Did he not just say that?
It is not him.
Yes, exactly. So how is he going to rein in when he's categorically distanced himself from the management aspect of this particular docket? What is he saying?
He'll provide policy that can rein in.
There already is policy.
That can rein in.
No.
Honestly speaking, this is one person who has very many questions to answer. Not just about these protests. Let's just say, beginning with these protests. Okay? Even IG Koome, the former IG Koome, he left office. But the former IG Koome was not the one commanding the officers on the ground.
No.
There's a command structure that goes all the way to the officer, to the officer commanding station, all the way to county commander, regional commander, director of operations at the headquarters, the DIG for the National Police and DIG for the AP, and to the point you get to the IG. But the IG fell on his sword for what had happened here.
He did.
Right?
Which is the right thing to have done.
Yep. This Kithure Kindiki is the man offering overall policy and direction and guidance. He is the person who makes sure that this independent entity does not overreach. When President William Ruto says, under my administration, there will be no Rivayala.
He's not speaking about
there will be no... He is saying that I expect my minister to ensure that there will be no Rivayala and to demand proper accountability and to push that this entity does the things the right way. He cannot now come back and say, but I am not the one in charge.
By virtue,
you are the one in charge.
Eric, by the time you are the CS and you are distancing yourself from what happened, what are you telling us? That you're not somebody who can take on the responsibility you're given. It's your docket. The IG reports to you. Maybe not directly, but that person is your subordinate.
Yep.
If your subordinate resigned, he should have resigned.
Yep.
All these deaths we keep speaking of, there's no way he can escape the blame. It is his docket.
Not when he has not even come out during that time to say, there's deaths happening. And,
He said nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Did you even hear a squeak?
In fact, he was praising him. Even yesterday, during the vetting, he talked about criminals who wanted to kill MPs when they invaded Parliament. So if he knows that they're criminals...
What have they done?
Yeah.
This is what I always find confusing. There's a report, they were goons. Okay, they were goons. Okay, what have you done?
Yep.
You've recognized them. This vetting process is a good thing. You know why? In terms of simply showing you the grasp someone who has been nominated for a job, whether they have a grasp and a full handle of it, it demonstrates. Kindure Kindiki doesn't have a handle on this docket, Chief. No. This thing is clearly beyond him.
And truly, and this is nothing against the person of Professor Kithure Kindiki.
No, this is not the right docket for him.
This is just it. There are 60 people who've died this time. During last year's Sufuria Maandamano, another 60 people died.
Yes.
And many others were injured.
Yes.
We have an ongoing families of more than 400 people.
Yes.
Are just asking their government to give them answers. how did our person die?
That's it.
And actually, is our person here? Our person has been missing. We know that there are 400 bodies here. Is our person one of them? That's a basic question they're asking. The second thing there from there will be, how did our person die? And will there be justice? Kithure Kindiki has been in this docket for all that time. He has not provided a single answer.
Eric, don't leave the North.
400 bodies.
North Rift.
In the North Rift, thousands
Yes.
have been dying.
People have been displaced. People still die today. And he made promises which appear not to have been fulfilled.
Yep.
The problems persist.
Yep.
And yet you want us to retain you in that docket. I mean, surely, Professor, even if you sit and think, okay?
If you have to be fair to yourself.
Even to yourself. You're a professor. This child, this student has not done well in the exams, okay? You've told them, okay, Xerox this thing, rewind, okay? They have rewound. They have done badly again. And they're telling you, no, just promote to the next class. Really?
Really?
Really? No.
There were many petitions that were filed. Over 1,300 petitions were filed, according to Speaker Moses Wetangula, okay, on all these nominees. Some of them, after scrutiny, they were found, okay, some of these things don't even meet the threshold, so they were put aside. And then there were others now that were for specific cabinet secretaries. Murkomen apparently has the highest at 60-something. Then you have Soipan Tuya. Then you have even Kithure Kindiki has some. Now, when you were looking, when the MPs were questioning the nominees, at no point is it clear that the issues that have been raised in these submissions are actually being put to the nominees. What you'd hear the MP saying, and I've seen some of those clips, is an MP saying, there's somebody in my constituency who's sending me messages and they're asking this and the other. Okay? But the issue of the submissions that were taken to Parliament, that have been processed by the Clerk of the National Assembly, that have been presented to the committee that is vetting, have not been synthesized into a way that this is the public's opinion of you, or these are the questions being raised by the public about you. How do you respond? Or there's a specific matter that has been brought to the attention of this committee about a particular matter. Respond to it. It's public. It's the public. Why aren't you doing it publicly? You know? Why not doing? What's the process here? What's the point of asking people to submit a memoranda if...
And then you lock it up in a cupboard.
Yeah.
Shouldn't people know and say, okay, these are the numbers of issues that were raised, and on this particular docket, we have these.
Yep.
So you can actually understand and ask, okay, have these things been considered when the vetting process is taking place?
Exactly.
It is clear that many of our citizens who are in political leadership are loath to shed that skin that they have had for the longest time of being sirikali, even when it is not you who is supposed to be keeping the secrets. You want to feel that the public should know as little as possible. You want to ensure that they only know what you feel they should know.
Yep.
And yet, we have a constitution that clearly guides us as to how these matters should be.
Yep.
You know, every time petitions are raised, it's like this matter that we keep discussing regarding public participation. There is a cosmetic aspect of public participation where you're supposed to make a show of it. There are a number of people who gather together. There's some discussion about it, and then public participation. Not really. That's not really it. And this public participation, there is no exercise in this country that is free or is exempt from it.
All decisions.
Yes.
And it appears the Parliament thinks
Yes.
that public participation is something that we go and ask, okay, so what do you think? What do you think? Ah, yes, we've heard you.
Actually, they think they're the ones who decide what it should be, what it should look like.
Then they decide now how
We've
to
had
handle.
public participation. Because we've decided, a few questions have been asked, but we allowed you to bring in the memorandum. Did we not? That's public participation. We've told you this number came in. Is that not? No, we want to know the details.
Yep.
What did people say?
And then we want to see those nominees answering those questions.
Yes, because those are questions which are being raised.
Yep.
The whole purpose was for people who may know things that the rest of the citizens don't know, raise it so that we know, is this person actually suitable for the job? Yes.
Meanwhile, as we're talking about public participation, there's a whole full-page advert by the Ministry of Interior and National Administration in the State Department for Correctional Services. Public notice. call for public participation and submission of memoranda. The Technical Committee on the Development of Legal and Policy Framework for Correctional Services in Kenya was appointed via Gazette Notice blah, 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 blah in April by the Cabinet Secretary. Stakeholders and all members of the public are called upon to participate in the process by preparing and submitting memoranda via email, blah, 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 and copied to black. Okay, email is technicalcommittee@correctional.go.ke, cc technicalcommittee5621@gmail.com. To be received on or before the 29th of August. The proposal for correctional services bill and policy is available on their website, correctional.go.ke. Stakeholders and members of the public who are not able to submit written memoranda are invited to attend public hearings and give their views. The venue, dates, and times are as stated below. They will be in Nairobi, in Nyanza, Western, South Rift, North Rift, Central, Eastern, Northeastern, and Coasts between the 14th of August and the 29th of August. Okay? Now, once this has happened, okay, so now,
What I find strange, Eric, with all these things, I'm seeing the resistance and the pushback to change.
Yep.
Those who we have given the mandate to represent us seem determined that they want to decide how we should be represented when we are clearly telling them this is how we want you to represent us.
Exactly it.
Yes.
Exactly it.
Their pushback is consistently telling us, okay, we've heard you, but let us tell you how we are going to represent you. Telling you, look, excuse me, stop. We sent you there to do our bidding, so we are telling you this is our bidding, and you keep insisting that you know better than we do, and we're the ones who gave you the job.
That you become the boss.
Yes.
We know when I got there, now I become the boss.
Yes. But you see, it leads to, I mean, we're running out of time, but even this thing about the talk about the return to the famous Boma's draft constitution.
Ati, what is that headline, Nandini?
Yes.
The Star?
Ruto Raila plan major changes to the constitution. Odinga's call for return to the famous Boma's draft constitution. The story on page 6.
You know, it's been said many times that, every time some people want to, chapa dafrao to William Ruto, they're like, this guy opposed the constitution anyway. When you see him behaving this way, it's because he opposed the constitution.
Yes.
Let's talk about Raila Odinga for
Let's talk about the draft, this draft, the Boma's draft.
I want to talk about Raila Odinga himself.
Yes.
Okay? How many times in the last 14 years has Raila Odinga been behind a talk of revising this constitution? Yes, he campaigned for it openly in 2010. In 2014, Raila was the first to lead a charge to amend the constitution.
Yes, he was.
4 years into the life of the constitution. 1 year into devolution, Raila started this campaign to amend the constitution. With BBI again. Now again with this Ruto thing again. Raila is behind 3 attempts at amending the constitution in its 14 years of infancy.
Yes.
Does he believe in this constitution, this Raila Odinga?
Let me ask you this question. I'm coming to your question. The Boma's draft. Did he not participate in the process that could have given us the Boma's draft as the process by which we should be led?
What is this, the Boma's draft thing? That
it's a parliamentary system which was on the table, and where was it rejected? And by whom? And when?
Does he want us to go there so we can talk about the parliamentary system? He was the prime minister that was in charge of appointing the committee of experts.
Eric.
The committee of experts was tasked to harmonize the Boma's draft, the Kilifi draft, and others, and come up with a constitution. He said, this is it. This one is very good.
Eric.
14 years now he's saying, no, by the way, let's go back.
The chicken have come home to roost. The truth of the matter is this. I am getting to the point where I think all these people who participate in these processes that brought us to this presidential should not be in this process of deciding what should happen next, because they had their chance and they blew it. So now they're telling us that having blown it, they now have a solution to something that could be better. Really? You had the chance, and you've had the chance, and at every moment it's been blown.
Yep.
Now is when it's going to work.
Akuna. Let's go to the news, 7 a.m.